Argentina nací, tierra de Diego Leonel, de los pibes de Malvinas que jamás olvidaré. Se lo no vas a entender, las finales que perdimos, cuántos años las lloré, pero eso se terminó, porque en el Maracaná, la final color azul que la volvió a ganar, papá. Muchachos, ahora nos volvimos a ilusionar. Quiero ganar la tercera. Quiero ser campeón mundial. Y al Diego, desde el cielo lo podemos ver. Argentina 3, Croatia 0. Argentina will play in the World Cup final. Sorry I couldn't bring this video earlier. I was quite busy yesterday. I didn't have the time to get back home and make the video, so now that I'm here, we can talk a bit about this new qualification for Argentina to a World Cup final. I'll be watching Argentina play in a World Cup final once again, and obviously I'll be hoping for a different result this time. Whatever the case may be on Sunday, I'm so happy. I'm so proud of these players for all they've achieved and for putting Argentina where it deserves, up top as one of the best footballing nations on earth. Wow, what a game! What a game! It was a bit of what I was expecting, but also not, because I was really expecting for a closer game. Scaloni even said in the press conference afterwards that we didn't really deserve to get such a hefty scoreline. Like, maybe the game deserved to be a bit more narrow in the scoreboard as well. But that's because Argentina yesterday were what they weren't in previous games, and that is being clinical. The only game we were really clinical in besides this one was the one against Mexico, and we finally were able to score all those chances we were able to create. We did create a few more, but most of the chances we got, we scored them, so that was really nice to see for once, that we weren't so wasteful in the final third, and that way we could close out the game earlier and not suffer so much in the end. Because the game against Croatia played the same way it played against Australia and the same way it played against the Netherlands, but it's just that we were able to convert those chances, and yeah, we didn't have to suffer in the end. So, like I said in my preview, if Di Maria wasn't fit, we were going to start with some kind of 4-4-2 with Paredes on the pitch, and that's exactly what happened this game. Adding an extra midfielder was great for Argentina to control the midfield. Now, we didn't really control the possession of the game, especially in the first half, but you don't always have to control the ball to have control of the game. We just were pressing and made sure that Brozovic, Kovacic and Modric didn't pick up the ball in comfortable positions. Our midfield was constantly pressing and blocking potential passing options, and that made their progress into the final third a bit difficult. So even though Croatia had the ball for the first 30 minutes or so, and I was kind of worried because Kovacic was actually creating some good plays with the ball on his feet, they weren't able to translate that ball possession into any chances. In fact, Croatia only had 2 shots on target the whole game, and they came after the 70th minute. So that shows that even though that first half an hour Croatia had the ball and had the possession, they weren't really creating much with it, and that's mainly because of the work that the midfield was doing and because of the setup that Scaloni chose to run this game. I'm gonna say something, and I wanna state that I respect the Croatian national team. They are a team that I've enjoyed to watch this World Cup because they have so much fire, so much passion, and they are willing to fight for every result. But I think that many points of Croatia got exposed this game. Mainly their backline, and most specifically their fullbacks, because Lovren and Bardiol were doing a fantastic job up until this point, but rivals were constantly exposing Croatia. We knew, for example, that Croatia was a team that seemed to always concede first in the World Cup, and that's always for something because they can get exposed in the back even though their defense was wonderful. Against Brazil, we saw that it was mostly Livakovic keeping that game alive for Croatia, having to make so many saves. It was mostly Brazil not being clinical enough in that final third that kept Croatia alive in that game, and they were able to obviously take it to penalties and win it. This time Scaloni set up the team in a way that we would give the ball to Croatia and let them have possession, but whenever we got the ball back, Enzo Fernandez and Paredes were the one to capitalize, and there was a clear intention of Scaloni to recover the ball in the midfield somewhere around with that pressing, and then throwing long balls to the open space, because Croatia was keeping a very tight mid-block, advancing the defensive line over, and that was leaving a lot of space between the defensive line and the goal. So that was space that Messi and Julian Alvarez could run into. And that's how the first goal was created. A long ball by Enzo Fernandez to Julian Alvarez, completely onside, gets inside the box, tries to chip it over Livakovic, and that gets tackled down. There was a lot of discussion over that, if that was a penalty or not. I've seen a lot of mixed opinions. I think it was clearly a penalty. I think most people agree that it was a penalty. I can see why some people put some doubt on the matter, because they say that Julian Alvarez is the one running into Livakovic, but Livakovic is the one that stretches his foot to not allow Julian Alvarez to continue the play. So I think it was a clear penalty in my opinion. Taken by Messi wonderfully to the top right corner to make it 1-0. Apparently that's something they've been practicing, because we know that Livakovic was great at saving penalties this World Cup. The coaching staff took notice on this, and they saw that Livakovic was really good to get into the ball when it was near the post. So what they instructed Messi to do, and what they practiced the day before, was to shoot the penalties above, so that Livakovic couldn't reach them. So that's what Messi did, executed it wonderfully, a great penalty, and that was 1-0 up for Argentina, and that really opened the game up for Argentina once more. Even though, like I said, we weren't having possession of the ball, people were saying like Croatia was being superior, and that's not really the case. The game was being played the way Argentina wanted it to. Argentina was controlling the game without having the ball, was controlling the midfield and making sure that it didn't get into dangerous positions, and responding in the transition. We saw this a lot clearer in the second goal that comes from a corner from Croatia that gets passed to the side. Julian Alvarez actually goes to press the cross. It gets deflected off Julian Alvarez, and then Otamendi completes the clearance. Messi taps it a bit, and it reaches Julian Alvarez, who then runs from all across the midfield onto the box. Molina making a great run in front of Julian, distracting Sosa, allowing that opportunity of a pass that Sosa had to cover, and giving Julian a lot more space to run into. There were a few mistakes from the Croatian backline there. First, there was an attempt to clear it by Juranovic, and it gets deflected onto Julian Alvarez, who just keeps running and running. Sosa tries to clear it. It bounces off Julian Alvarez once again, and Julian then taps it in over Livakovic, and it makes it 2-0, which was honestly a dream scenario by halftime. I was not expecting us to score 2 goals just like that, but that was the difference maker that Julian was this game. Like finding those long balls for Julian, who has so much pace, is so fast, and let him run into space because of all the space that Croatia was leaving because they're between their back line and Livakovic. Argentina had a clear chance to make it 3-0 before the end of the half, with a header from McAllister from a corner that was saved by Livakovic, and Juranovic just taps it outside. It could have easily been an own goal by Juranovic, but it ended up going into a corner. And then at the second half, I was trying to remain fully concentrated, because this sounded a bit too much like the Netherlands game. You know, we have control, we are 2-0 up, and then the Netherlands is able to make a comeback in the last dying minutes of the game. And Croatia were known for making this huge comeback, so I knew that we had to stay focused and we need to continue like this, because otherwise Croatia would come and get that equalizer, get some goals back. They did bring in some attacking players like Vlasic and Orsic, but to be fair, that's when the other weakness of Croatia showed, and that was their front three. They really had nothing this game up top. You could see that they were trying absolutely everything, absolutely every player trying to play the ball in every way, try to create something, generate something, but they really had nothing up front. And that was partially because of the players Croatia have at their disposal up top, and also because of the defensive work that Argentina was doing, that I think was completely impeccable on the day. We were never distracted, and the backline just worked wonderfully. It was so good to see. Argentina made a few substitutions, and Paredes ended up coming off for Lisandro Martinez to make that backline of 5 once again, that Scaloni seems to really like, to control the game and to control the lead we had. And then came the third goal, and it's just wow. Messi looked Vardiol, one of the best defenders of the tournament so far, who was poising himself to be probably the young player of the tournament. He made Vardiol look like a fool, man. That was so wonderful by Messi. It was like remembering his best years at Barcelona, and who then crosses it in for Julian Alvarez to get the tap in and the 3-0. 2 goals for Julian Alvarez in a World Cup semi-final. Huge game by him. And obviously he got half a goal basically because he was the one that was tackled down for the penalty. So he got a penalty and scored 2 goals. An absolute banger of a game by Julian Alvarez, a statement of a game. So yeah, after that you could tell that Croatia didn't have much left in the tank. They tried a few shots outside the box. In fact, the only 2 shots on target Croatia got this game were shots from outside the box that weren't really threatening and were easily handled by Emiliano Martinez. But yeah, the last minutes of the game went pretty smoothly. We didn't have much to worry about. Even Foyth, Correa and Dybala all got to play, so all of our field players have already played this World Cup. Only Armani and Rulli, the 2 substitute goalkeepers, are left to play, and I doubt they will get any minutes, but Scaloni has given every single player in this squad the chance to play in a World Cup, which I'm sure is the dream of many. So yeah, that was basically the game. Argentina were very good controlling the midfield, and they capitalized on their chances and got that very impressive win to make another World Cup final like in 2014. Again, hoping for a different result because this team deserves it, and Messi deserves it more than anyone. So player ratings. Emiliano Martinez, good game. He didn't have to do much this game, but just how safe you feel when Emiliano Martinez is in goal. Every cross that came into the box, boom, grabbed, easy peasy. And the 2 shots on target, he was also able to stop them, even though they weren't very threatening. Yeah, overall very good game by Emiliano. Romero had its best game this World Cup so far. Amazing job. In those first 30 minutes where probably Croatia played the best and had the possession of the ball, Romero was always the ones to stop Perisic, to stop Kramaric of getting the ball into a dangerous position. Romero was always the one making those challenges, making those tackles, making those clearances. So Romero's job today was really good, especially in that time where Argentina was trying to get comfortable into the game. Otamendi is having the World Cup of his life. Like, after what happened with Vardiol and what happened right now with Morocco, and the game just finished against France, so we will be playing France in the World Cup final, I already know that. After what happened, Otamendi has to be the best center back at the World Cup, and there's no doubt in my mind so far. Otamendi has been fantastic, made so many clearances. It's great with his distribution as well. Nobody gets past him. Yeah, he's been a solid rock. He reinvented himself, and he's been great at the age of 34 when everyone thought he was finished. He's been the best center back this World Cup, and it's great to see. Molina had a very good game. Molina made a great defensive work this game, making sure to shut down the likes of Perisic and such. And moving forward, he was also progressive. He was always on the flanks, and obviously made that run that allowed Julian Alvarez the space to score that second goal. Tagliafico, I was having my doubts, man. When Acuna got suspended against the Netherlands, and I knew we were going to have to play Tagliafico. Tagliafico is a player who is always good enough. Like, he's shown that he is ready for these kinds of situations, but I thought that he wouldn't offer that much up front, and that he wasn't gonna be as physical as a player as Acuna was. But man, the match Tagliafico played. Tagliafico was one of the best men on that pitch. Like honestly, this is gonna be interesting to see because Tagliafico is making a statement to say he wants to start in the final. I think that Scaloni is gonna play Acuna anyway now that he isn't suspended, because I still think that Acuna offers a lot up top. But Tagliafico had an amazing game. Like hats off to him. Like the situation was hard because we didn't have any other natural fullbacks to rely on, and Tagliafico stepped up, replacing Acuna this game. Had a fantastic game. So yeah, so proud of Nicolas for his job today. Leandro Paredes, great game by Leandro. Maybe a very good game, let's say. He was imprecise at times with some long balls, like the ones Enzo tried later on, because there was clearly an intention of the coaching staff to get the ball back in transition and play those long balls for Julian Alvarez and Messi, or maybe for the fullbacks as well, and that's something that Paredes tried over and over again, but he wasn't so successful. Overall, he made some good challenges, he made some really good passes. His movement on the ball is so key. He is very progressive, and I love seeing Paredes on the pitch, even though Enzo has taken over as the main CDM for the teams. I think that the job Paredes does is still so important for this team, and I think he still had a good game. But Enzo Fernandez, man. Enzo Fernandez had another amazing game, making that pass for Julian Alvarez in the first goal. Obviously, that created the penalty. Getting shots outside the box, being more progressive. You could see that once Paredes is on the pitch with Enzo gets to be a lot more progressive, gets to show a lot more of his skill near the box and create a lot more danger, and that's what I wanted to see. And Enzo was so good, and even when Paredes came off the pitch and Enzo had to go back to that CDM role, he still did great. So yeah, another great game by Enzo Fernandez, who's been one of the best players this World Cup for sure. De Paul had a really good game. Maybe not footballing wise, like I know some of his passes weren't that precise, but just the amount of space Rodrigo De Paul covers. Like he runs so much. He's always giving his best for the national team. He's a completely different player. He's a beast. Rodrigo De Paul is someone I always want to have on my team because he's so key to setting out the pace and the pressure in the midfield for this team. So he had a fantastic game. He obviously wasn't 100% yet, so he had to come off later on the game as well. Hopefully he's 100% fit and can play all 90 minutes in the final, because his role is going to be absolutely key as well there. McAllister. I think that McAllister didn't have a great first half. He looked a bit uncomfortable. He was a bit shaky in the first half, but in the second half he completely turned it on. Like McAllister in the second half was so good, so progressive, so calm with the ball. We were holding a 2-0 lead, so he knew what he had to do on the ball: hold it, play it, make those passes, don't lose the ball. He was always, I don't think he missed a single pass in the second half. Like he was absolutely fantastic, and even got himself in position to score in the first half with that header, and in the second half with that volley nearing the end of the game. So I think that McAllister once again having a great game. I feel like people won't recognize McAllister's play because he's not as flashy as Messi, Julian Alvarez, or Enzo Fernandez this World Cup, but McAllister always gets the job done, and it's been amazing to see. Lionel Messi. Like, what else do we have to say, man? He's the GOAT. He's the absolute GOAT. Like, nobody can stop Messi this World Cup. People have tried absolutely everything. We'll have to see what France try, because Messi is completely unstoppable. He's a man on a mission. He wants that World Cup more than anything. And the game he played today, like, even with that penalty and that assist he made at the end, even if you don't take that into account, the game he played, being so clear with the ball, dribbling opponents, making time and space for his teammates, putting them into good positions with his passing, with his vision. Messi does absolutely everything, man. Messi does everything, and he's so good with it at 35 years old. And yeah, it's so nice to see. I get so happy whenever Messi plays, and I don't want it to stop, you know. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Then Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez, another amazing game. It should have been Julian Alvarez who got man of the match, to be honest, but we all know how the man of the match award works this World Cup. Those 2 goals, especially that solo goal he made, even though it took some lucky deflections, all the props have to go to Julian Alvarez for never stopping and for always trying to get that ball into the back of the net and getting it done. Obviously got the penalty. And even if you remove all that, all the pressing he does, someone has to check Julian Alvarez's lungs. Like his lungs, man, how does he run so much? He's always running. He's so annoying to deal with for defenders and for the goalie because they are always getting pressured by this man. The defensive work he does, he goes all the way down to the midfield to press and recover the ball in those positions. All the job he does while running so much is amazing. He's a very complete player, and yeah, it's a great addition to the team. And he's also been scoring. Like it's not only his work rate, he's also been scoring, which is the craziest part. So yeah, great game by Julian Alvarez, man of the match for me. Lisandro Martinez, once he came on, was also really good. I love when they set up this back 3 or back 5, whatever you want to call it. Lisandro looks so composed, so good, makes those key tackles. So yeah, Lisandro, another great game off the bench. Ezequiel Palacios, who came on for Rodrigo de Paul, I was happy with his duty as well, with the job he did. I think that Ezequiel Palacios should be the natural replacement for Rodrigo de Paul. I hope that Rodrigo de Paul doesn't have to get subbed off in the final, but if he does, I want to see Palacios get subbed in because he's been great. The rest of the subs didn't really have an impact in my opinion, but they didn't play that many minutes and it were the dying minutes of the game when we were 3-0 up, so I don't think it's worth mentioning them, but I'm still happy for Correa, Foyt and Dybala for finally getting minutes. Because they are still a part of the team, they are so important and I'm happy to see them play, of course. So yeah, what now? We're in the World Cup final once again. Was that a convincing performance? I think there were a lot of doubters on us, and I think we finally showed that we can be clinical and we can close out games. That was finally a convincing performance, and it couldn't come at a better time in a World Cup semi-final. Now it's the final. We're gonna place France. We just beat the last World Cup's runners-up, and now we have to beat the defending World Cup champions if we wanna claim that trophy. It couldn't be more poetic, you know. To be the champion, you have to beat the champion. That's what this World Cup is telling us right now. And we're gonna give it our best. Like, no one has given us anything for free. We fought for everything up until this point. We were superior to every opponent we faced, and we don't plan on stopping now. Now it's hell or nothing. We won that World Cup. We won it so bad, and we're gonna go get France. That's all there is. It's gonna be a great game, 2 great teams, so many good players on the pitch. It's gonna be an amazing final, one to remember. We are both looking for our 3rd World Cup title. We both have 2. Who is gonna get that 3rd? That's gonna be the storyline for Sunday. So you're gonna have a preview for that, obviously. So yeah, I wanna thank you all, guys, for this journey, which has been amazing here on YouTube, covering this World Cup for you from my perspective of an Argentine fan, with all the passion that we have around here for football. And yeah, I'm so happy. We're gonna play in another final, man. Like, Sunday is gonna be insane. And I hope that the result is what we all want, what I want, what all these people want. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon.